Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Learn Dota 2 League Season 21, Week 2. Today, we're taking a look at GRaff taking on Power. I almost said I'm losing my sanity, which is not true and not true. On multiple levels, you know. With me here today is nobody. Let's get this rolling.
Radiant team back.
Immediate ban on the Jakiro.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Looking at the support line.
Dire
I feel like
team
most of
back.
the bans in this
Dire team
this
back.
season so far, and in the last couple of minis, have been aimed at core
10
specifically.
seconds
So it's
remaining.
interesting to see some
5 seconds
bans levied
back.
at the support line again. Probably targeted at
10
loading.
seconds remaining. 5 seconds. Dire team back.
Meanwhile, Senor losing my sanity,
10
who is
seconds
picking for the
remaining.
power team, going
5
after
seconds remaining. Dire
Razor,
team
going
back.
after Viper, going after Sand King. This guy
10 seconds
hates
remaining.
old Pause 3 heroes.
5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Apparently, GRaff banned something they were going to pick. I'm
Dire
guessing the
team
Drow Ranger. Then immediately picked up the Undying.
Radiant
Undying is
team
kind of an awkward first pick in the way that it can indeed just be completely countered and removed from the game, not just by a core pick, but just by a support pick.
10 seconds remaining.
Witch Doctor, though,
5
it's not on
seconds
that
remaining.
list. He's not really that
Radiant
threatening to
team
Undying. In
back.
fact, arguably one of the better support matchups for the Undying.
10 seconds
At least outside of
remaining.
the Death Ward. He can't really do
Dire
anything
team
about the Death
back.
Ward, but he can just he is not afraid of Maledict at all. He gets Maledicted, he ends up with more
Dire team
HP.
pick.
He does have to think about that matchup though, because if he gets a million strength and Witch Doctor is
10
thinking
seconds
hard about it, he can pop that
5
Maledict on at
seconds
kind of an
remaining.
awkward time when Undying is still a big old meat balloon, and then watch him explode because he just lost 300 HP. Still, that's not the common occurrence. That's
Radiant team
and it's more late game than early game where it matters a lot less.
10
So,
seconds remaining. 5 seconds. Radiant team
two supports on both teams. A 9 Clockwork, Witch Doctor, Ogre Magi. Neither of these are particularly standout support
10
lineups.
seconds.
I like the
remaining.
combination of Undying and Clockwork more than I like the
remaining.
combination of Witch Doctor, Ogre Magi. Though, to be blunt, I don't think either of them are necessarily bad.
Dire team
Okay, never mind. Something funny's going on with the GRaff team, as we now have a third support.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
So either we're going to have Core Undying or Core Clockwork, or maybe GRaff has lost his marbles and is going to be running the Lion mid. You never know. I mean, Dragon did that once, or Forgan.
Dire team pick.
They really did just put a number on poor Power. They really did just ban a load of his heroes and then Invoker into Kiro.
10 seconds remaining.
Which I guess is fair, because I
5
think most of the bans on the GRaff team against them have been targeted at GRaff himself. Not the silencer, obviously, but... It's a good silencer ban, I'll give him that, given the heroes they chose to pick here.
Radiant team
Definitely a very good, yeah. Okay, I think they've scouted... They've protected their picks by these bans
10
pretty well.
seconds remaining.
Even if I don't think it's necessarily been too close to what a GRaff lineup would actually feasibly look like being picked, I do think it is a very sensible roster of heroes to get rid of if you want to pick a team that looks like this.
Radiant team
Still, obviously, some left that are pretty nasty, but should be alright.
10
Like, the Storm
seconds
Spirit's
remaining.
not bad, but he's not
5
awesome.
Dire team back.
It's gonna
Radiant
come
team
down
back.
to... Oh, nice.
10 seconds remaining. 5
It's going to come down to that cleared out all of chat when I did that. It's going to come down to execution there, I think, is the big deal. Storm Spirit can be kind of a nightmare for the Centaur and for the Dragon Knight if he gets quite far ahead. He means not terribly much to them if he doesn't. In particular, he doesn't really do enough physical damage to get around either the Centaur or the Dragon Knight's natural tankiness. So all they really need to build is a pipe, and he's losing a lot of power. I mean, this Centaur has to build a pipe this game. There's not really any two ways about it. Sven, also interesting, and again, it's not an awesome pick. It's a solid pick. It's not wrong.
5 seconds remaining.
Goes well with the team comp. You've got really a lot of guys who are just all about control. The Lion, the Clockwork, the Storm Spirit, all about controlling the, where the fight is. Okay. Nope. There was gonna have to be something I didn't like about this draft, and we got it. This is a bad Dragon Knight P1 game. This is an awesome. Thought I was DK Smile. True. This is an awesome Dragon Knight mid game. You could absolutely in this game just have two beefy boys taking hits here, and honestly, with the roster you had here, have some kind of magic immunity based pause 1. Have like the Jug, I think that got banned, but have the Life Stealer, something like that. And between all that, the rest of the lineup really doesn't have that great opportunity to get to you. So you have kind of I like how that animation looks when it's sped up. It's pretty good. But we didn't do that. Instead, we live in a world. Instead of living in a world where you have two great escort fighters for a strong pause 1, you're going to be able to stand in line and, basically tank and take long fights with a pause 1 that would ideally enjoy that. Even beyond those two, I picked something like a Wraith King. Wouldn't be that bad either, though it's kind of a bad Wraith King game with a few bad matchups for him here. Okay. Quap just walked straight into 5, died instantly. That was really quick. But, I guess we'll call this while I consider how to word my thoughts. But immediate first blood on the Quap is not really what you want on this team. Lion gets one more shot in at the end. But either way, most of the power team does have the clan tag, though these two guys don't even have pro names. The switch to the DK puzzle, I just hate that. I just don't like it. It just, ugh. The hero has been nerfed way too many times for it to be that great pause 1. It's just, it doesn't outscale very well. And it's going to struggle with Sven, who's going to be able to,
Special thanks to Timwa14 for the 9-month tier 1 sub.
Shoutouts to Watkins. We will get your game after this one, after this series. But shoutouts to you for the sub, and enjoy your no ads. Well, before we get into that, let's take a look at the roll call for... We lack code line.
Told you a storm was coming!
Why we still paused. For the GRaff team, Pazwan man himself, captain of the team, GRaff on the Sven. Pause 2, you've got the Young Master on Storm Spirit. Pause 3, I assume you've got Not So Pro Player on the Undying. Pause 4, you've got Shown on the Clockwork. And pause 5, you've got Code Line on the Lion. Lion, it adds up. On the other side of the coin, on Power's lineup, pause 1, you've got the man himself, Power, on the Dragon Knight. Pause 2, you've got Toasty, who likes pigs. Not that toasty. Pause 2, you've got I'm Losing My Sanity, who's on Team E-Girl. On an E-Girl, appropriately. On the Quap, pause 3, you've got Go Chicago Bears. On the Centaur Courier, pause 4, you've got Loading, also known as Tidehunter, also known as a couple of other things, is this guy on the Ogre Magi. And pause 5, you've got Toasty, who does like pigs, as previously mentioned. On the Witch Doctor, looks like old Shone is headed back to the showers. Though Undying immediately gets a revenge kill. It's going to be a tougher lane for Dragon Knight than it might seem in your head, just because you know, a lot of people are very used to the DK being, you know, a big tanky guy in lane. Good rotations here from the support line to get rid of the Undying here, before he's able to get rid of the DK. Good revenge kill, and they might get a follow-up on Shone. That they do, so double kill here in this top lane. So I guess the last 2 minutes have been 2-1 for the Radiant here. Good rotations, just very quickly got these guys up here. Still, it did take a lot of firepower to get that to work out the way that Power wanted. You know, as I was saying, you know, a lot of people think of DK as this big, bad, tanky guy. And, you know, a long time ago that was true, but those times, there we go, that's kind of the issue with the Witch Doctor Maledict. We could see it there. He gets maledicted, he hits Q, the Maledict stops doing damage entirely. But, without his, without the Dragon Blood, without only upgrading really later on, that's only going to be a big deal later, he is much more vulnerable early game to the Tombstone, or to just being bashed by the Clockwork, and the Undying has that Strength Steal, so it should not be very nice for him. The good news is, in the long run, it's not like that matchup is going to matter that much. He will eventually kind of stop. When he gets BKB, he's going to stop caring entirely about the Undying, basically. It's going to do nothing to him anymore by that point. Till then, pretty nasty matchup. Much nastier than it used to be. But it will one day be less so. Most lanes outside of that crazy top lane have been moving pretty slow. It looks like the mid is pretty disproportionate, but you know, that's only because Quap was at the bottom of the core last hits by like 2. Everyone's pretty close to each other in terms of last hits, so both people at mid quite high on denies. Seems Quap's denies were perhaps a bit more pertinent, as she has currently got an XP advantage by being down on last hits. Looking to get another kill on the Witch Doctor here, and that they do. Very quickly goes down. It is notable, since the Undying and the Clockwork have come back into this lane, the Dragon Knight has been falling down the last hits chart. Just as I said, when I think in practice this is going to be sort of a tough lane for him. He even just missed the last hit. He tried to get with Fire Breath. Sad. Will say, I don't foresee a lot of kills happening in this bottom lane either way. If anyone is going to die here, it's going to be just Loading. That's really it. At this point, I mean. And hey, you know, that's not nothing, but you've got a core that doesn't do a lot of damage, but is really tanky right now in the form of the CK. Sven is not really going to be like killing him until later. He's going all in on Great Cleave because he wants to do some early game jungling action, presumably. So he's not really going to be killing the Centaur unless he really misplays into it. Not that he would be able to with you know, maxed Q and E anyway. not a great combination for dealing with him. Lion does some alpha damage, but mostly later on, and he's got several levels until that, and Centaur can easily build for it. Ogre Magi is the one guy who sticks out, and even he's just got, he's still got a stun and a slow, so. Storm Spirit kind of got aggro and ran out of assets at an awkward time here. Maybe aggro came to him, but either way, awkward timing, just hit 6, and the first thing he had to do when he hit level 6 is just immediately run home, because Quap also hit 6, and if he had stuck around, he would have just been screamed at done.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Storm Spirit going to bot. I suppose that there is a way that you would see some kills here. It is double damage Storm Spirit showing up and beating you up. Centaur tries to stun and get away, but it's not looking like it's happening. Nope. So notably, at top at the exact same time, Quap made a rotation in, and once again got a double in the in that Radiant top lane. Notably, while Centaur was dying, the Ogre Magi actually snuck out to get the Wisdom up here. Did not want any part of that. Storm Spirit's kind of caught in no man's land, but he has so much mana right now, it doesn't really matter much. It looks a little dangerous, but it's really not that bad. In fact, he's kind of thinking about, round 2 here. He's looking for loading. He's in a lot of mana in this attempt, and it's going to work out just perfectly. Double kill here. Gets the entire support line. The Clockwork knocks off the last of DK's mana, which, by the way, is another annoying thing for this guy in this lane, is having to deal with that constant mana break from the Clockwork cogs. He doesn't have any ability to deal with that till level 6, so. And even then, his ability to deal with that is to ult and blow them up, which isn't really the solution you want, per se. Clockwork, gonna get the Maledict on him, and get some well-timed tranks. Clock, eat your...
Welcome to the club, Ripley Loki 33482.
Shoutouts to Ripley Loki. I can't wait to not know who you are when you get into your game, because your pro name is not that. Okay, DK ults here. Kind of a miscue by Clockwork. Seems very interesting to do that when you're already pretty low, but is going to provide at least for a kill on the Witch Doctor here. Though, subsequently, the revenge kill is pretty much immediate. A very greedy play there by this Radiant offlane. Morgan free farm. Okay, I'll forget that. But,
My eternal gratitude.
yeah, awkward timing there on the Radiant safe lane. I think overestimated their position there, especially comparatively. The DK was not only, like, even if the DK was still, like, level 5 when that was shook out, he was still full health. He had a lot of gas still in the tank. Gotten his mana back by this point. So, but it was worse than that. He had hit 6, so it was just a very cursed go there in general. As predicted, Sven has just gotten the mask, and he wants nothing more to do with this lane, which is fine, because this is a very unconstructive, unproductive lane for him. There's really no way that fighting against these two annoying guys that he can't kill is going to be, like, having to lane with them, even if not necessarily fighting them, is going to be any faster than doing this. So you might as well do the safe option. See in the tower, but it will take them until Christmas to get a T1. These are some of the worst tower sieging guys in the game.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Centaur seems to be unhappy with his lot in life. Perhaps no, he's just giving the old creep cut treatment. Double Q. Looks like they want to defend bot here. Storm Spirit has shown up, has gotten rid of the Centaur here.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's middle 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 tower is under attack
We're looking at the Ogre. This should be a very easy kill. Never mind, it just suddenly got a lot harder. Quap TP's in, screams at everybody. Yeah, this is awkward. They just don't quite have enough catch right now. And Lion got tipped for some reason. They dropped all their catch on actually killing the Centaur. They had nothing left. Yeah, this is why Lion got tipped, because he's top instead of a bot. This is the wrong place to TP, unfortunately. If he had been a bot, those guys are all chicken dinner. Instead,
Radiant's bottom tower
they're actually going to be able to turn it around and get a kill on Sven, which is a pretty big deal at this point. Probably, definitely dropped them on that net worth chart below the DK. Not that that matters particularly much. Well, I guess it matters a lot right now. It doesn't matter a lot in the long term. Just so long as the GRaff team can hold on. If this team makes it like 45 minutes and the power team hasn't already basically won the game, it's too late for them. Lion is going to get caught here. A lot of pain on his head. We're looking at the Undying next. A whole bunch of stuns walk up to him, do not quite make it in time. Unfortunately, not so power player didn't double tap that TP scroll and so has to walk back to spawn. Chicago Bears still slow sieging the bot tower here.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Sven has moved to closer where the team is, well, the guys who didn't show up last night, or not last night, last time are fighting. Here at the triangle. Which I suppose makes sense. If your whole team wants to go top, then I guess this is where you want to be fighting. Everybody caches the DK. They kind of stack the stuns on him a little bit. And worse, they knock out the gear he needs to just escape. I think that might have been a little overconfidence on Clockwork's part. Definitely would have been better off just hitting him with one of the ones further away. Doesn't matter though, they're still going to take him down. So far at the cost of one support, though, yeah, it's going to be both now.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
We're doing a lot of fighting in the shadow of this tombstone. In fact, they've actually decided, oh, hell with this. They've actually stopped trying to kill the Undying and are just going to kill the tomb instead. Undying is, ooh, kind of baited the Centaur there. Just sat there, got a million HP, and then just tanked him to death. But he might regret that decision now. Yeah, he's almost guaranteed to die to this Maledict, and in fact he does. Storm Spirit falls as well, he's just completely out of gas, so... You guys killed Chone, now in the fight. Lion is trying to hurry back, but has just used a smoke instead of a TP to get here.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Did not make it in time. Overall, that was a pretty crazy fight. It's 4 for 3. It's a net gain for the Dire, but it's kind of hard to put it that way when most of the money went to the support line. And DK ended up losing money, getting nothing for it. The guys who died on the Radiant still made money. Storm Spirit made the most on the team, despite his death. And more importantly than that, GRaff was just down here hitting creeps the whole time. So I would say that's less of a win for the Dire, more of a stalemate-leaning Dire. And they've got the DK again. Hopefully this time they will not repeat the mistake of bashing the gear. Best for him to leave with it to him. Indeed, they do not. Ogre Magi 15-minute Midas. Yes, indeed. Clockwork just gets zapped here. Lion decides to zap right back. DK's very low. All he needs to do is just... Okay. I was about to say, all that needs to happen is just get hit by Soul Rip. And, he does not. Lion, in fact, is the one to do the job. Just gets him with the regular old Q, and down he goes. 2 for 1 trade. That's a 900 gold swing on the Radiant.
I love this
And yep,
part.
Ogre Magi 15-minute Midas.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
I guess what you would expect. I guess. It feels kind of awkward to ever get a Midas on the team with the worst late game. Like, the notably worst late game, but you do you.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Storm Spirit. Going for Grease here, which I guess makes sense. This is definitely more of a item for you than an item for the team now. It's still kind of an aura, but it's been somewhat de-aurid. More in the category now of items like Shiva's Guard, perhaps. Or the AC, where the primary benefactor is the purchaser rather than the team. Feels like we haven't had a Centaur ult yet, but here we are. Centaur ult has brought a whole bunch of guys into position here around Sven, but Sven smells something rotten here. Knows that these guys have been nearby pretty recently. Just gets the hell out of the lane. But they may end up just walking right onto him anyway. And in fact, they do. Caught him right here. Right outside his spawn. If only that Maledicted happened before the scream, but whatever, he still died. A lot of people very deep now. Lucky for Quap, she's managed to get out before anything has really happened. Witch Doctor roll goes for a second before it's interrupted. Doesn't get that much done. His cask just hits a bunch of creeps. Quap gets killed by a neutral creep. Okay, bye-bye. Well, that has certainly made this fight awkward. Ogre Magi, the absolute Chad, is just sitting here bashing people to death. He does not care anymore. He now cares greatly as Undying is DP'd in. 2 for 3. Overall, about a 1,500 net worth change for the Dire, though this may change with the death of Ogre Magi. Notably, Ogre was kind of a money balloon and has just thrown quite a bit of change out to the other team, though Lion got the actual streak off of him, so there's that. It's not going to update, huh? I would guess I would probably put it, yeah, closer to even, about 500 net worth swing for the Dire. Getting rid of this Finn is a big objective. I think if they had if Quap had been more willing to just be, unfortunately, just be a pragmatic, unkind person, let's just put it like that, and just get out when she still had the opportunity, I think that's a much cleaner win for the Dire. Having to go down there felt pretty bad for really not much. Having to go down there, and her game for it was that she helped Ogre Magi kill a support. Like, that's not really what you want to have a result of that play. Undying's a little crazy being here, but I think he successfully bluffed the Die, who did not go for him at all. They're very afraid, I think, that he has friends behind him, but his friends are all top.
I'll take that.
Well, actually, his friends are pretty much spread around the map. Quap is in here. Has an Invis rune, is just basically stalking this guy. Almost just walk past him without thinking about it. Quap is just, yes, should be an easy kill, and in fact, it isn't because he has Invis. But he isn't trusting the Invis, interestingly. It's kind of funny, I think if he, I guess, never mind, that doesn't... that doesn't break your invis moving anymore. It's easy to forget. But yeah, he did almost get out of there, but almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. Outside of Storm Spirit, who has taken some awkward spills and has not gotten that much money for his troubles, it is just core net worth contest is generally favoring the Radiant right now. I don't know why I went back in time just to see Toasty die of this tournament.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
This is what happens when you do the all witch, no doctor build. Got a free voodoo switcheroo though, which is a very good
Radiant's
shard to
top
get
tower
if
is
only
under
Toasty
attack.
had died for it.
Dire's bottom tower is
Dying
under
going for the
attack.
egg, so you better have the okay. I always get concerned with Undyings who build like this. Like the first thought I always have is he took the right
Dire's
faster, right?
bottom
The
tower
answer is
is under
yes.
attack.
Bullying the Centaur up here, he's kind of unfortunately being caught by the two guys he absolutely wants least to get caught by. Hits ult, but he's in the middle of the gear jail, and the Storm Spirits are before he knows it. Just gets completely trailed down there. The Centaur ult this game isn't as obsolete as it looks because most of the tools to deal with it that the Dire has, or that the Radiant has, are applicable only to one guy, but it is definitely a poor option if everyone is just jumping at you as a way to get out. That is not going to work out for you. As a team, different story, but as one guy, no. And you're going to have to be able. This is unfortunately one of these lineups where you're going to have to be a bit of an unkind person to your team. You know, like when you hit ult on that Centaur, when you're making a big retreat or something, you just got to be willing to let the guys behind you go, unless it's the P1. You got to be willing to trade your life. Not kill yourself, but trade your life for the P1s. That has to be. Oh, he cut his blink cancel. Stomp, nothing said. Centaur is in. Oh my good lord almighty. Must we do this amidst the team fight? Two down, thanks in large part to the Witch Doctor ult. Jesus Christ, let's just watch this fight again, actually. That idiot bot distracted me. Die.
Special thanks to Alarapon for the 7-month Prime sub.
Shoutouts to Alara, regular non-LD2L viewer. Anyway, so it starts good gear jail on the. There is. It's just that things get past it sometimes. It's only really that useful at getting the most common stuff. Jeez, it's such a clusterfuck, and I was thinking about answering that question too. So one more time. Gear jail separates two Dire guys at the top of the fight, shed 3 at the bottom. Witch Doctor ult comes out, does a hell of a lot of damage, clears the support line very quickly though, does not save the Centaur who was surrounded and dealt with there. Sven walks in on the back of the fight. He hasn't been here the whole time, but he walks in on the quad in the back of the fight, and I don't think they thought he was there. He is hammering them here. He pops his BKB. I believe that's his 9. It in fact is. Storm Spirit is going to die, which is pretty unfortunate, but Sven still has Blink Dagger. They stare at each other awkwardly. Sven hits the Mask of Madness to finally speed up against the Ogre. Gets the Ultra Kill. Losing the Storm Spirit for that kind of sucked. That's the only real bad news for the Radiant in that fight. Sven gets an Ultra Kill, walks away single-handedly with $2,105. It's about a $1.5 net worth swing towards the Radiant. But yeah, the Twitch auto detection, like half the time it works, but for the most part it only gets the ones that are like, by cheap viewers or whatever. It's pretty good at handling those nowadays, but this whole like, add me on Discord thing is like a new thing. I gotta say, these Discord fishes are getting a lot more annoying lately. I'm in a couple of big servers for a couple of games I own, and it's every day you see somebody add you with like, no mutual friends, one mutual server, and it's like Hearts of Iron 4, Company of Heroes or something. And it's always, she, her, cuddly Eagle profile. And sometimes they don't even bother doing that good of a job making it look like that. Like the other day, I got added by somebody named Vanessa, but their actual username was still like Tyler5919 or something. That happened on my birthday, actually. I actually added that person just to yell at them and call them an idiot, but like those Discord fishes are getting really goddamn annoying because they just cold add you and just drop the blog spot link, and it feels like they never get banned. And it must work a lot more than the older fishes, because it's happening a lot more. I guess fishers have finally realized that guys on Discord would do anything for one of those girl types. Either way, game slowed down harshly after that last fight, owing to the fact that almost everyone was dead. But now this is getting like really scary. This game was already looking like a scaling issue for the Dire side, but now it's like that scaling issue has just been blown wide open, because now not only is Sven, you know, your doomsday weapon here on the Radiant, he outscales the Dire combined nearly. He is like way out in front. He's $5,000 higher than the $5,000 higher than second place. The highest person on the Dire side, and that does not appear to be. Oh, Superior is getting juked over here pretty badly. Does not appear to be going down anytime soon, as they just drop the Centaur, the Witch Doctor, there in mere seconds. Still trying to track the Quap here. She is no longer in down. She is gone. Though, as always, betrayed by the courier for Ogre Magi. I feel like this happens like a weirdly frequent amount of times. Somebody is getting away, and they might actually do it, and then the courier just reveals to everyone where the position is. Okay, this is about to be the most convenient thing ever for the young master. Just finds a casual regen rune just right in the middle of the river. And they see the DK there, under vision. And he just barely makes it out before the Storm Spirit gets there. Wow. It's a good thing he had those heebie-jeebies. He high-fives nothing.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Actually, I think he had those people walked on the sobs, but you know how it goes.
Do it with flair.
DK is doing a good job in a way of trying to dodge the worst-looking fight, being a good opportunist. But the problem is that DK is so contradictory to that idea. He's playing like he's playing a Spectre, you know? Like, the way that Power is playing this game would be really good on a hero like a Spectre, on a hero like Wraith King, like Anti-Mage. But this is not that guy. Like, there's a reason that the common roles for DK are 2 and 3, right? Like, he does not scale that well. He's got pretty good fizz damage for quite a while, but eventually all he becomes is just a big tanky meat balloon. So he definitely cannot be an opportunist. It's ideologically good, and I think it fits his playstyle, but a hero pick is just so integral to what he was. Dire support's just gonna get cleaned up here as we're talking about that. I'm dying in deep here. Got his Ag, so he's a bit of a menace at this point. Even post nerf. And the nerf at this point was like a year and a half ago, so don't think too much about that. But a year and a half, I think it's like actually 2 years now, but still. In both nerf, that 8 strength steal per hit is pretty big. The DK does have a fresh BKB. The Centaur Warrunner does not, the Quap does not. Centaur in particular is going to have to be very conscious about the, and she's building halfway through Ags as well, so she's not going to be able to be a BKB for a while. The Centaur in particular has to be very conscious about the Ag's strength steal, because he has so many things that factor on strength. Not just his HP and right-click damage, as it would be for most strength heroes. It's like his double-edge damage, that gets cut down by getting strength stolen from him. His speed gets stolen from him as he loses that. I think his stampede damage, yep, which is not huge, but it's definitely notable, also gets cut down there.
Top tower has fallen.
Radiant take Dire's top T2. It's really not looking good for the Dire right now. The net worth gap is not huge because it's impossible to get an advantage in Dota right now, but the game's looking pretty good. While the net worth disparity isn't huge, it's just a bad sign to see the late game team leading in 30 minutes. Quap is going to take a very quick spill here. Just gets completely hammered by big AoE damage. Centaur tries to say, "Get down, Mr. President," to the guys that are attacking his Dragon Knight, but as it were, Sven has this funny item that stops him from caring about that. 5 for 1 trade. All they get is a support. Like I said, even though the money was pretty even, the actual game state was not.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Is more than likely that Dire at least lose a T3 here, though they're going to be up fast enough. Nothing much worse than that should happen.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Throne Spirit doing this while the rest of his team moves to Roche. The rest of his team moving to Roche is something that the Dire knows as they walked over Dire Vision to get there. Though there is a very real question of whether or not they're going to be able to contest this without DK. My instinct is no, absolutely not. Storm Spirit clearing the space in his inventory for this, which makes sense as the Sven seems pretty unstoppable right now. So we might as well put it on him, which would allow him to go deep behind the lines. Interesting to see the scan, even though everyone went on Dire's under Dire Vision there. Nobody seemed to have the idea. They were doing Roche, which is interesting. I guess having Vision down only counts for half the solution. I do like Dire's general Vision scheme. It feels like there have been a lot of times where something bad was about to happen and it didn't get caught by wards. It's a big step up from week 1, but it is definitely getting into the habit of actually using the information you get. You know, a camera can take some great pictures, but if the film roll is just full of spaghetti, then it doesn't mean too much. Shiva's coming up soon on Undying is going to be pretty nasty for the DK, though. Again, luckily he still has his BKB. It's only down to the 8, so it's going to pretty well nullify that in the next couple of fights at least. Pipe is nearly out on the Centaur. Put that back in your pants. I don't know exactly what he's talking about. They're making the right move here of just hitting a side lane while waiting for the Radiant to come uphill. Undying kind of makes a miscue here, goes completely solo, and cut to ribbons. Though Sven gets her in the end. Even though it's a misplay, the Dire is down so much at this point, it really doesn't matter that much. They do take a lot of damage on the retreat. Oh, they actually got Sven! Okay, it suddenly matters a whole lot. I didn't think they were going to get that. Or unlikely, yeah, the Storm Spirit can just kind of get away. No matter how much they want him. Mistook. True. Yeah, a bit of a miscue there for, I think, the Undying in that fight. 4 for 3 trade overall. They also lose the Aegis. Losing Sven, very big deal. Just swung a lot of gold to the Quap. At least she died for it. Really, the saddest thing about what I'm looking at right now is not the fact that there was about a 2.5 grand... oh, okay. It is not the fact that there was a 2.5 grand net worth swing. It's the fact that most of that money went to Ogre Magi of all people, so that's not going to be that helpful.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I think it does quite clearly demonstrate that this team is not 10 feet tall. They are quite reasonably ahead, but I think right now, especially after several years of, like, you know, this game would be at like a 15k net worth advantage right now, like 2 patches ago, right? After several years of that, I think people can get very excited when they're up like this, or at least when they start to feel up like this, and start to think that plays like that are alright, but you definitely have to be careful this patch, because this is definitely more of a comeback patch. It is very, very hard. I mean, we saw a game week 1 where there was like a 20 kill disparity and not even a 3k gold lead, right? Like, in fact, I would say you can make a very strong argument that it is way too hard to get a gold lead right now, and it is very difficult to actually be considerably up, thus making scaling a bit too important as far as your team comp goes, but that's neither here nor there.
Huzzah!
It definitely seems like the favored teams right now are the ones that will go late game, but can get there. Are not going to lose before they get there. It definitely feels like the ones that are good this patch, just because it's like, it's very hard to get those back-breaking 5-digit net worth leads. Make these, a team like the one Power has is especially bad. It just does not work for this meta at all. You know, this team works really well if you can get a 10k gold lead at 20 minutes with it, but also that just does not happen in this match. It's like just like in gameplay mechanics, it does not work. Centaur goes out on a probing attack against the Radiant, finds nothing great for him, but a very good turnaround from the Quap is going to be able to once again chase these guys out of base. Late appearance from the Undying. I believe he might have just shown up right in time to get killed. Also lost a Gem of True Sight on that. Just a very awkward go on the part of the Radiant. It's interesting to see. I mean, I guess it stands to reason. You know, the reason that the last uphill attempt went so bad is because we were all split up, because we didn't have Undying there. We have everybody there. It should go better this time, but I don't really think going on Chicago Bears was necessarily a bad thing. The bad thing was after he died, everyone just kind of bunched up and got screamed at by the Quap. They, ooh, not the Wizard Sleeve. They still don't have the
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
defensive items to really stand up to this at this point. This is a pretty squishy team in general. Undying is going to be tanky to a point, but he needs time in the fight to get there. He's not tanky by default, and he does not really have, outside of the Shiva's Guard, he doesn't have the right items for that yet. He's not sitting there with like Crimson or something. Not that that would help in that case, but you know, it goes. Actually, this might be the worst Crimson Guard game ever in history, so I'm glad he didn't do that, but still. You know, Dying does not have the right inventory to be, like, properly tanky. He's a durable guy, but he's not a tanky guy. He's, like, strong pause 1 tanky right now. Speaking of not tanky, goodbye Centaur, just dies immediately. He's going for Crimson, which, I mean, I guess makes... No, it doesn't make any sense. Crimson Guard, even when you have a lot of strength, Crimson Guard really only works to a point. The best time for Crimson Guard is when you have guys that do a lot of small right-click damage rapidly. But the problem is that this team already doesn't care about that. Because you really have two sources of that. You have the Storm Spirit, who's just going to bowl you over with magic damage anyway, and you have the Undying Zombies, which, you know, you have your pause 1's DK. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a goddamn about that. The team does not care about that. In a game that looks like this, you really need to go just, I mean, frankly, I think you just wouldn't finish that. I don't think the Vanguard is bad, but I think this is probably more to what you want. Being able to stop the Storm Spirit entirely from attacking is a much better thing to be able to do. Though I believe that does get dispelled by his Guardian Grease, so who cares? I don't know. He started the Vanguard after everything else anyway. I would have just not gone with it. I would have just not gone with it and just built more into more raw strength, more raw tanky, and most importantly, the BKB. Hunger Magi gets caught and dealt with. Everyone drops on the Sven, but this time the Radiant is kind of ready for it. You get a quick turnaround here. Sven waits out the BKB, but he actually still dies. He dies to the Death Ward here, which just kind of keeps going completely unstopped. But it looks like his team may win the fight in spite of this. Oh no, Quap's is gone, and they do not have the tools to deal with this Centaur. Voodoo switcheroo here. Oh my god, at least kill the Witch Doctor. He's not even gonna get that. His team has definitely got some severe quap problems right now. Feels like the last 3 fights in a row, she's just completely solo dominated them. Yeah, I thought it was like, okay, so he's waiting out the DK BKB. So you blinked in as both BKBs ended. That's the good news. Speaking of which, I believe that is, at this point, yeah, it's well down to 6. This is down to 6, so DK BKB is not going to be as scary anymore. More items to deal with that could definitely be on the cards. Quap is still not. Oh, she does with BKB here. That was actually her 9. Okay, that's why that fight went so well. Well, I guess at this point it's time for the sheep stick for the Storm Spirit. I think it's the best way of going about that. It will be delayed, but I definitely think it is pretty necessary at this point. Having severe quap problems, you just gotta put a stop to that damage, but Orchid isn't gonna do anymore. It's too late for that to be the answer, so it is sheep sticking time, I think. Just gotta beat her to the punch there. Might be hard because she does have the ability to BKB and then go in, but then you have the ability to screen for her, so there is that. Undying BKB coming out relatively soon. BKBs aren't going to be doing a huge amount because the main issue they're dealing with off the Quap is just getting ulted every fight. Everybody's just getting blasted by the ults every time. The BKB does not actually do anything about that, but at the very least, it will stop the it will stop the stuns and slows and such things and make that easier. You know, thinking about it, actually, the lack of the BKB didn't even screw you over there, because I don't think you really got honed by anything that caused that. The thing that hit you is you just stood in front of the Death Ward for a little while and just died. This is another issue this team is having. Not one I expected them to have, considering they've got the hook shot and they've got... Oh no! No, fake Sven! They've got the hook shot and they've got the Storm Spirit ult and they've got Bling and the Lion, but it does feel like these Death Wards are just getting in a lot of cases just to happen for a very long time. I guess I might have done it. But still, these Death Wards getting uninterrupted for a very long time. Not great. Gay is here. He's a lot more alone than anyone on Dire or on Radiant realizes. The Lion is going to die immediately. So is a Witch Doctor. So is a Clockwork. The supports are just melting. Another big ult for Quap and another quick death for the Sven. Storm Spirit nearly gets away with it, but at the very least they kill the DK here. Pause 1 Quap or what? Overall, that is 5 for 4. They do get a buyback out of the Ogre. So even though this looks like a total stalemate, the reality is this is not accounted for in the gold chain. So about a 1k net worth swing in favor of the Radiant, who's been on the back foot for a little while now. The Swift Blink reveal from the... should have bought Satanic this game, maybe. Swift Blink reveal from the DK there was a big steroid for them in that fight. Let them do a lot of damage there in a very short time. It's interesting to see the the better late game team was doing better early, and now the worst late game team is doing better late. It's kind of funny.
Radiant are scanning.
But I do think this is kind of the last power spike for DK. I don't think he's ever going to get any scarier than this. Whereas the Storm Spirit still has somewhere to go at the very least. Storm Spirit still has somewhere to go. And could probably sell those treads, get something nice where I think the DK... I guess he doesn't need them. Still. See what they should have really done this game? They should have had Clockwork have that trait let him eat the chainmails. That's a guaranteed win. Have Pipe coming out on the Lion, which is going to put away some of that dire damage, though not that much. It's kind of an awkward game for auras against this team in general, because Crimson is useless against this lineup that just really doesn't do conventional right-click damage outside of, you know, when you explode, basically, when Crimson Guard would be nowhere near sufficient. Most of their damage is either a massive, overwhelming amount of right-click damage or pure damage. So, these auras aren't great about it. Clockwork Flare flies over the Dire here. Radiant actually decide they want to try and take this fight while they're in the jungle. Sven goes first, while Invis, there is no detection here, so they do not know where he's at. Clockwork Flare comes out. Great hook, great stun, goodbye. And there is exactly what I was talking about when it comes to good vision. Exactly what I was talking about when it comes to utilizing good vision. The Dire, they saw that with the Clockwork Flare, that good reconnaissance led them into a great situation. They just killed everybody instantly. Pops by and back, but kind of an empty threat right now. Unless this is going to be the greatest Aegir steal of all time. Needs more buybacks than that. And with that, a massive swing. That was about... Oh my god, I should have looked at the post-fight recap, but that was a crazy amount of money that just changed hands. Sadly, I did not see who got the shard off the Tormentor. Let's just say it was like, I don't know, it was Storm Spirit. I kind of doubted about this. T3 that was under siege so long ago has finally gone down. So tanky. Swamp is in, screams at everybody. Scream this time doesn't do that much, but the follow-up from the Centaur, from everybody else, just kind of makes everybody explode. Undying and the Lion are gone. So is a Clock. 3 and under club just goes down here. Or at least I got the right rags, but... these Quap problems are immense. You're just able to completely kill the 3 and under club in like a second. They just consistently can't seem to stay alive against her for any amount of time. Nor is she getting shut down in any way. The one fight they had on this team that looked awesome was just... Well, one that started a lot like this, actually. Great go! Great counterattack here. He thought that was a fake. He just ran right past it. Oh no! Celeste walked onto a sentry unwittingly. So, a 3-0 trade gets met with a 4-0 trade as the Sven and Storm Spirit go right back up the lane. Again, it's just down to who fires first on the Quap. Like, if the Quap gets to start the fight, it's just horrific for the Radiant. But if she is down ahead of time, then this team can do nothing. Oh my god. Sven can't decide whether he wants to go in or not. Storm Spirit committed, but had to get out of there, because Sven did not want any of that. Interesting to think. I feel like you definitely want to turn around and go back up that lane really quickly to make use of the quad power play, because she's 75% of this team.
Stupendous.
DK might be doing more damage in the fights, but that's in large part because he gets to beat up the meat balloons at the end that have a lot of that have very large bars. Squab that's really like the problem here right now. Pharasma comes out on the Storm Spirit. He's still got another item as well. It's concerning because again, Dire's pretty much done scaling at this point. They're still able to win fights very confidently right now, but Radiant is not there yet. Even the Undying, well, I guess he is pretty much done now, but as little as him scaling means. I'm gonna try and go up top here. I'm gonna bait a fight of some kind. I assume they're waiting for the DK to walk forward, but no dice, and now the Quap is back. I think with Quap back, the prospects of going uphill here have dropped to 0, but they're not going to stop trying. At the very least, creeps are hitting racks while the Dire are forced up here. Not hitting the right rack, they're splitting the lineup. Ogre Magi is going to get picked. Sword Spear gets in before the Quap's able to do anything. Quap doesn't make it. She does scream, but oh my god, she lives! Never mind, she's fine. She lives as Sven goes down. What a disaster. The only downside to this is that 2 people on the Dire had to buy back. Lion's still making a run for it. Oh no, Lion, what are you doing? Oh no, what a misplay. If he had just kept running after that stun, he would have been able to blink out and he would have been fine. That's kind of sad. Storm Spirit still dutifully securing bounties at this point, picking up a refresher to
Radiant's middle tower is under
cover
attack.
that magic wand, and then he's basically going to be done. Okay, that's a little much. I understand that skill has a low cooldown right now, but it is a little nuts to be using your real team fight swinging skills like that. Especially when Sven can save, just buy back and kill you. Just like that, yeah. Once again, down no buyback. Cannot possibly have buyback because she bought back too recently. Ogre, die back. Witch Doctor, die back. Yeah, it's time to just end. Surely they're going to acknowledge it this time, but it doesn't show on that board. The gold change wasn't really too much because they had buybacks leading into that. But surely this is over now. Surely they're not going to randomly run away and turn around. They wouldn't do that to me. They would end now. Hey, GRaff, you win now, right? Oh no, they're running away from uphill. There are 2 guys! There are no buybacks! You know they don't have buyback! Just go! Please, just go! Okay. I'm going to be in good faith and assume that was just trying to bait the DK back up there. And they do get him. They do very quickly find the DK. They get rid of him. He's also died back. 5 down. Power calls the G's are going home. Okay. Yep, that was, I mean, basically exactly what it looked like it should be. The power team had it for a while. There were some issues in organization on the GRaff lineup in parts of this game, especially dealing with the Quap. I think a lot of stake was. I think a lot of credit in the fights was moved from the Quap to the DK, and I feel like a lot of people were very conscious and very positioning. In reality, the problem with these fights is that Quap would blink in and then ult, and then it would be a 3v5. Or 2v5, maybe, even. If things went particularly bad. Just that ult alone was just blowing big holes in the line. You can see it without the deaths of the lineup go. Even Undying has 12 deaths to his name. You look at the damage received. It is insane how much how much some of these guys have. 100 grand damage received on the Undying. Goddamn. And again, while the Quap actually, no, I was about to say, did less damage total. No, she did actually do more. A lot of that damage from Dragonite, especially later on in the game, just came from sitting there whacking the, when Undying stole a million strings, just sitting there whacking him at the end of the fight, sitting there whacking the Sven at the end of the fight, who has a bunch of HP. I think Quap was the decisive factor in these fights, and I don't know if that ever really got appreciated as much as it should have been, perhaps. Still, despite all that, it was just Power had a team he had to win relatively early with. He just couldn't do the job. He was hanging in there surprisingly well when it was just Finn who was carrying all the bags, but when Storm Spirit picked up that Ags and he picked up that Parasma and he started being able to really launch shells and fights, Power team just could not keep up anymore and they just started getting regularly slept. Every fight where Quap died in the initiate, they just lost by a country mile. They just get completely ran over. And sometimes they'd be losing like 2v4s, 2v5s, something like that. Either way, we'll see what happens next time.